And then the sixth step is a program that I call Crush It. Sales strategies to follow up and reconnect. Here's what this is. It's a step-by-step sales process that you can drop into your business to reconnect with lost prospects. How many people, if we were to go back in time and look at your pipeline, let's say 6 months ago, a year ago, how many people are in there that never actually closed? How can we start connecting with people in a way that makes it easy to have a conversation? How can we get people to return our calls while building credibility? That's a new one, isn't it? How can we get our voicemails actually returned? I'm going to walk you through a very specific process. We're also going to talk about the reasons why people typically don't return our calls. And we're going to talk about how we can actually prospect for new business with what I call the high value email. It is possible to generate new business with the high value email. Let me give you a couple of thoughts, a couple of ideas. If we want someone to return our calls, think of leaving someone a phone message as a runner's baton, if you will. Now, I get into this in a lot more detail, but I want to give you a very actionable step right now. Think about when you leave someone a phone message. Let's look at how other people do it. They say, hey, it's Bob Marks over at XYZ. When you get a chance, give me a call back at, here's my number. Some version of that, right? But think about that message that you leave as a runner's baton in a relay race. And that message represents the baton. And what we're doing is we're actually handing it off to them and we're saying, call me back. You with me? Okay. Now, you probably don't leave a message like that, but for other people that do, when we hand that message off, we're literally handing the responsibility of the next time we talk over to the person we just left the message for. Fair? Okay. Now, we're in sales. Are we just going to sit on our hands, wait for them to call us back? No. We're going to wait a while, and then we're going to call them back. But now we're left with two really kind of uncomfortable options. There's that word again, uncomfortable. We can either pretend like we haven't left them 2 or 3 messages and they're not returning our calls, and just, continue to leave that smiling message, really excited, hey, call me back. Or we can identify the fact that we've left messages and they're not calling us back. Now, I don't know what you sell, but in every industry I've ever worked in, guilt doesn't tend to work. Those are two pretty poor options. Let's actually keep control of the conversation. So I'm going to give you a very specific step. And again, I dig into a lot more of these ideas in this program, Crush It. The next time you leave a phone message, let's keep the responsibility of the next time we talk and build some credibility. Here's what it could sound like. Hey, Jim, it's Bob Marks over at XYZ. Don't worry about calling me back. I'll call you later on today at 3 o'clock. If for some reason you want to talk before then, my number is 555. I'm also going to send you over a quick email. Sometimes that's an easier way to connect. I'm sure between the two of us, we'll talk soon. All right, so let me stop that role play, if you will, and just kind of think about what just happened there. I said, don't worry about calling me back. Now, let's stop right there. Salespeople never say that. If we want something different, we got to do something different. If we don't want to be treated like everyone else, we got to stop acting like everyone else. I said, don't worry about calling me back. I'm going to call you again at 3 o'clock, or I'm going to call you again Tuesday at 5, or I'm going to call you again Wednesday at 10, whatever it is. But if you want to talk before then, my number is 555. So I'm letting them know the next time I'm going to call, I'm sounding very different than every other salesperson out there. I'm letting them know the next time I'm going to call. But I'm also keeping the door open. If they want to pick up the phone and call me back, my number is. And we follow that up with the next message. Hey, it is Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I promised you I'd call. Don't worry about calling me back. We run through an entire process that you can actually change a little bit each time that helps to identify you as the professional that they need to work with. I hope you got just as much out of this as I put into it. Let's wrap this up. Do some lessons learned and address some frequently asked questions. The type of questions that I get after a session's over, right? Again, they may not necessarily fit into some of the stuff that we were coaching to right here, but they might reflect more the day-to-day of your world, and maybe a couple of ideas that you can actually take out and apply to start getting some better results. And maybe a couple of ideas that you can apply to start getting some better results in a different area of your business. Let's go.